The crew of the Abigail finally crossed the Mexican border, which went a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be, actually. Chris takes a few more steps towards Crazy Town, and we finally arrive at the farm in Baja. Wait, farm? What? What farm? Oh, man, this never ends good. It's all on this week's episode of AMC's Fear the Walking Dead, Season 2, Episode 6. Sicut Cervus. Kind of sounds like Secret Service, doesn't it? Secret Service. Alright, spoilers ahead, just so you've been warned. And quick little note, I'm sorry, I'm suffering from a serious cold, which is why these reviews are out late this week. My intense apologies. I didn't sleep last night. I was in bed all this morning, so forgive my nastiness here. But at least it's digital and you can't catch anything, so bonus there. Alright, so we start things off this week finally crossing the Mexican border. And after all the build-up and the flotilla mentions, and there's only room and passage for this, things went a lot easier, quite honestly, than I thought they were going to go. I mean, yes, everybody had to hide down upstairs, and it was kind of cool how we just have Daniel translating what's going on upstairs. But it basically just seemed like, two guys in a boat. It was sad to see Luis go. I liked him. I was hoping that he was going to be a bit more of a bigger character going forward into this, but sorry, man, that's a bummer. And then there was like a couple of shots at him as the boat went away, and then they were done. And that just was sort of dismissed by Strand's notion of, well, they think that whatever's on land is going to kill us. I don't know, the way they had built it all up, I thought Mexico, was kind of a bit more of a protected zone. There was more boats, more defenses going on. For here, it just looked like, well, if they just kind of drove out and around far enough, they probably could have avoided everything. I don't know. So we do get to the town. We get to run in with all of the doomed parishioners. And here is another note for the onset of the zombie apocalypse, okay? Groups and cultists and religious things, they get very funky in the end times. So rules: do not take communion wafers, do not drink the punch, do not share in a glass of wine. Any of these large group activities, just bow out of. Just a little, hey, everybody's going, and be done with it, because otherwise you get the eyes bleeding and then lots of death. And I mean, I was honestly concerned about this the moment they started showing the communion wafers without knowing anything else. Just the whole atmosphere seemed very death-oriented. And yes, there are zombies and death around, but you're not supposed to dive right into it. Of course, the priest's final words are, it was Celia. And he is referring to, of course, the mom at the Abigail household, who is the servant that has served Thomas Abigail's family for the years, is Luis's mom, and is also batshit crazy. Oh, man, the end times really brings it out of people, doesn't it? And of course, like another farm that we ran into at some point in one of these Walking Dead shows, Hershel, there seems to be this urge to collect the undead. Very gross. Not in a barn, this is in the wine cellar, but the point being, for somebody who is thinking, especially with that ominous line about her son, oh, you didn't shoot him in the head, well, he'll find his way home. No. Bad idea. Just, things are not going to go well. Now, when we did run into the parishioners, Strand's reaction was probably the purest form of real emotion that we've seen out of him since we first met him back in season 1. His just cry out for Thomas and running and looking in the truck and running all around. There is real powerful emotion behind that, and you really get to see it when they do finally meet up back at the house. The two of them have great chemistry together. It's very sad that Dougray Scott's character is dying, of course, as we meet him. And first thing we see is the bandage on the arm with the bloody bite outline on it. Always a bad sign. So his days are definitely numbered. He is going out soon. And just very sweet connections, very sweet discussions between him and Strand on the way out. And the standard concerns that you do have when people that love each other is, I don't want to leave you alone. yes, I'm going to go. And honestly, I always bought Strand's statement of you don't have to go alone to be really speaking more of comfort than anything that he was promised and dedicated to. Not that I doubt the love that he had for Tom Abigail. You could really see it the way that it was played. There was a super strong connection between the two of them that was wonderful to see. But Strand's much more of a pragmatist. I don't think that he would just X himself out of life without really fighting for it. That's not the type of character that's been defined by him. So I honestly always thought that that kind of idea of I will be going, sure, I will go with you, was much of a swerve. And again, how much Celia just sort of grabbed onto that idea. Yes, you're finally doing the right thing. I have some respect for you. Here's some poison communion waivers. Oh man, she's not gonna be long for this world. I don't think so. And of course the owl symbolism, the coin that Luis was trying to hand to Daniel, and that was kind of a dick move by Daniel, just take it and toss it into the water. At least wait till the guy passes away first before you step all over his belief systems. But that coin had the owl on it, which is also something that Nick was staring on during the prayer with Ophelia. And the owl is a symbol of Santa Muerte, which is kind of a death grim reaper type of figure, strong in sort of the Mexican Christian religion type thing, which is basically just sort of an eye and a plan onto Celia's belief system and why she is grasping onto death so much. Also interesting, a protectorate of the LGBT community. So kind of with Strand and Thomas's relationship, kind of a natural Mexican outgrowth of that there. So I thought that was all nicely tied in together. It really worked kind of all around from a symbolistic standpoint. So I thought that was all, kind of beautiful, but just, information for you there. And of course, the other really big thing on this episode was Chris's further devolution into Psycholand. I got a feel for him with how much that he has gone through, but he seems to be stepping into Crazy Town very quickly. And of course, it all starts out with Travis's discussion with him about the death of Reed last time. Did you need to shoot him? Was he turning? With Chris not owning up to his actions, it's like that lie that further compounds itself. And so when Chris hears from Travis that, it might have been Maddie that was kind of like, hey, what's up? And then when Maddie gets attacked, that's why Chris is like, well, maybe if she goes, I won't have to worry about that. Which is just too long to think about it, especially when you've got Alicia right behind you that sees what you're doing and says, hey, you didn't save my mom. Great, by the way, great, everybody's stepping up at the zombie fight, just grabbing everybody's tools and everything that was on the ground and just, all right, here they come. Here, you take this and you take this. I really enjoyed that bit. So, of course, now there's conflicts between Chris and Alicia, which begs that conversation, which does kind of follow out, I think, really nicely into that little bit between Travis and Maddie. And I did like the point that Travis pointed out there, was that he has been backing her up. That's a constant thing she's been saying, is we have to be together. And he has been backing her play constantly. So I think it's really a firm point for him to turn and look back at her and say, hey, you need to be backing me up now. Yes, that's scary. Yes, that's weird. There are problems, conflicts. We need to deal with this. So let's do it again together. And with Maddie not really backing him up, I think that's showing a bit more of a skew, a bit more of a breakdown between their relationship. It was strained already. And I get Maddie's reaction, like, hey, but your son tried to kill me. But it's the frickin' apocalypse. People are freaking out. Let's bond together here. And I think that's what Travis was really trying to point out. And Maddie didn't really seem to jump right into it. So when Chris does go and try to speak to Alicia at night and see Alicia and Maddie sleeping in the bed, I don't really think that he was necessarily there to kill or conflict. I don't really get that from the idea. I mean, if he was, he probably would have brought a weapon with him. But just bad timing. I mean, obviously goes around why he was pulling that knife out then. I don't really know. But that's when the shot comes down from Strand killing Thomas. And then they wake up and he's got to stand there with the knife like, what? Can't even come up with a good reason. All of this just, things aren't going to go well for Chris, man. Chris is going to cross that line. and it's going to be bad, and that's probably going to break up the family even more so. So that's really it. Again, I can't get into too much because I'm dying here. Daniel's definitely losing a little bit. You know, he's hearing voices now. Now he's seeing the kid. You know, well, he's holding that one kid and about to stab him, and then he was getting the vision of definitely his past. Now, whether that was him as a child in that situation, kind of a reversal, or him seeing something else, again, I don't really know what that, but there's obviously a lot of darkness from Daniel's past that's popping itself up now. So overall, a good episode, but again, I think what they're really trying to teach us here is to avoid farms. In the apocalypse, avoid farms, at least for the first couple of months. They never go well. Just stay away from farms. And, you know, you can't collect zombies. Just what... If you find somebody collecting the undead, go the other way. Just leave. Just be gone. It's not going to end well. Anyway, that is going to be it for covering for this week. I hope you guys are feeling a lot better than I am. If you did enjoy my rants and raves today, please give me a thumbs up and allow me to speak clearly. Hit that subscribe button. Come back every week. I generally look much better and much more coherent in my speech. But you can hit that subscribe button. Come back every week. Next week is the mid-season finale, so there's only one episode left before the break. And then I haven't seen an exact date of when we're coming back, but I'm guessing it's probably around mid-August. Just sort of a guess. Anyway, comments in the section below. What do you think? How far is Chris going into Crazy Town? Is the little bond between Nick and Cecilia going to get a little more complicated there? Is Maddie being too overprotective of her kids? I think so. I don't think she's seen clearly at all. Anyway, that's it. We're all done. You can catch me on Twitter. I'm at Darren Jakes. Otherwise, I'm D, and I'm going to go get some cold medicine. Take it easy. Bye-bye.